Welcome to the Tudor Dixon Podcast. Well, I've been noticing there is a lot of talk about what a conservative truly is out there. Does a candidate or a public person pass the litmus test of the day? I want to kind of dive into this from the perspective of someone who was a candidate for governor in a swing state. So I think I have a little bit of experience what it's like trying to meet these litmus tests. And I have to ask, is that political litmus test working? But first, let me tell you about my friends at American Financing and how they've been helping your neighbors save money for 25 years. They've saved their customers an average of $854 a month last year by tapping into their home's equity to pay off high-interest debts. And with mortgage rates dropping into the fives, now is a great time to call American Financing. All it takes is a 10-minute call to 866-890-9313. They never charge any upfront fees, and that's why they have over 7,200 Google reviews and a 4.7-star rating. They've helped thousands of customers save real money and put themselves into a better financial position. Call today to see what they can do for you. 866-890-9313. Again, that's 866-890-9313. AmericanFinancing.net, NMLS 182334, NMLS consumeraccess.org. APR rates in the fives start at 6.406 for well-qualified borrowers. Call today. It's 866-890-9313 for details about credit costs and terms. All right, let's dig in. First, I want to tell you about a recent experience I had in New York City just a few weeks ago. I was staying in a hotel, and I've actually stayed there before, but I didn't know this about this hotel. Okay, so the hotel restaurant has this all-gender bathroom. Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't really know is back there until you get there. So you have to go to the bathroom, you excuse yourself, you walk down this long hallway, and it says all-gender bathroom. It's like hidden in the corner. So you could technically go back there with a guy you're working with and then find out, oh, yeah, we're actually going into the bathroom together. Okay. So even when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, it says all gender, but I'm sure this is like one person. I'm going to walk in and there's not going to be a guy in there, but nope, it's actually sinks. And then you go back and there's stalls, and the stalls are like regular stalls that you can find in a girl's bathroom. I don't know what it's like in a boy's bathroom. I'm assuming the stalls are the same, but I feel like when we share a bathroom, there should be floor to ceiling stalls like your own room. It's not as though you're just hanging out next to a dude who is also going to the bathroom. But that's what it was. Open top, open bottom, next to a guy. Now, there's someone in there when I go in there. I'm assuming the worst, like this is a guy. So I'm hiding in the stall because I'm not going to come out and wash my hands next to him. And maybe you're like, Tudor, give me a break. This is the 21st century. You can share a bathroom with a man, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm out on this one. I don't want to share a bathroom with a dude. I don't like being next to my male coworker, listening to the sounds of bowel movements and splashing and tickling. Like, that sounds horrible. And then what if something bad happens and you come out and you're like washing your hands and he turns over, he's like, bad gas day today? I mean, what do you say? Yeah, garlic doesn't sit well. I mean, it's terrible. I don't want to be next to a guy. Not acceptable. Or heaven forbid, I have to unwrap some sort of a feminine product and then he hears it. Like, I thought you were a little aggressive in today's meeting, but I'm going to excuse it because obviously we're at that time of the month. No, just no. We do not want to share bathrooms. I'm totally against this. The worst part, though, something I hadn't thought about with this, because this has been an issue, a political issue in the state of Michigan in the schools. And I had not thought about this part because I have not had to deal with urinals in my life. I'm a girl and I have all girls, and it's just never been a thing for us, right? I never really thought about why they even exist. Didn't have to. But then that day in the bathroom, I'm like, oh my word, this is why there are urinals. Because dudes have to put the seat up. And the bottom of a public restroom seat is a total nightmare. An S show. Like, Exactly that. I mean, all over it. It is really gross. And there were no urinals. It's not like you're in a all-gender bathroom and you go into the stall and there's a urinal and a toilet. No, it's a toilet. So you have to touch the toilet seat. So clearly the guy before me was like, I'm going to put the toilet seat up, saw the bottom of it, the same nightmare I saw, and he probably thought there's no chance I'm touching this again, put it down. So then I got to put it down. There are all kinds of reasons this doesn't work. We should not have an all-gender bathroom. But I'm like, okay, what am I going to do about this? I mean, this is a hotel in New York City. New York City is like so progressive. There's probably nothing I can do. I can stop going to the hotel. Other people can stop going to the hotel. They're probably not going to. I mean, you literally have to go to the bathroom in the restaurant. The rooms were nice, but this was a nightmare. So probably me, I'm not going to do anything. I think that what is going to happen is eventually someone's going to go, man, this is a really stupid decision, because this is my theory on it. There's going to be something that happens in this bathroom that is going to be bad. Whether it is something really bad, like a woman gets attacked in there, a woman has some sort of a sexual assault in there, or just there's kids in there and people go in there and they do something because there's a man and a woman in the bathroom and you can do whatever you want. I just think that at some point, something's going to go bad in the all-gender restroom, and companies are going to make that decision like, this is a bad idea. We should no longer have all-gender bathrooms. We're going to have to abort this mission. But do I think government should have control to stop the all-gender bathrooms? No, I actually don't think the government should go into private businesses and stop this, because like I said, I think it's going to stop on its own. But when it gets to schools, I think it's different. And this is kind of like one of those reasons that pushed me into running. And it was like one of those moments where I'm like, okay, we have to protect our kids. There are certain places where government plays a role, and I want them to protect our kids. So I say, look, in our hometown, our middle school is about to have all gender bathrooms. Not some of the bathrooms. It's not like you as a middle schooler can go to one bathroom and it's all gender, or you can go to your regular bathroom. It's all of the bathrooms are going to be all genders. So think about this like middle school to boot. It's like the worst time of your life. There's zits, there's periods starting, it's makeup, and even worse, like what if the dreaded diarrhea happens at school? I know this is graphic, but come on, think about this. It's horrific to experience in front of your friend of the same gender, but imagine having that happen in middle school in front of the opposite gender. I mean, movies had been made about this kind of embarrassment, and yet we're going to allow this in our schools. So this is where I'm like, okay, this is where government steps in and protects kids from this. They step in and they stop the disasters before it happens. Like in a school, that's possible. But in general, government isn't really the answer to everything. And I think that's something that we've gotten away from. Sometimes when I hear people and pundits and social media influencers like, I want government to do this and I want government to do that. And even people on the conservative side are like, more government, more government. They don't think that's what they're saying, but they're actually saying, I want government to be in total control. And I'm like, no, you don't. Yeah, no, you don't. So you want, I believe, your candidates to be running for office to protect your freedoms, not force you to live under more laws or more rules or create big government. I say this because I'm telling you, I hear a lot of people that are like wanting to destroy this or that, like pick apart our systems. They think they have a better idea than something that's worked for years. Some people, they've already effectively taken apart parts of government. I mean, whether it's the right or the left, it's like, we're going to do this better. We're going to destroy this and rebuild it. Even our party, parts of it beaten up, left for dead, because it didn't meet the litmus test of a very few, a very loud few, but a very few. And whether it's their test of the day, whatever their test of the day is, you have to ask yourself, and I see a lot of folks on the left asking this too, to our detriment, that is the right out there right now, the loudest voices on the right, are they out there saying, The greatest experiment in the history of the world, the United States of America, does not work anymore? That this country needs to be dismantled and rebuilt? Well, no, the right is not saying that. You might be hearing that from some of the loudest voices on the right, but in general, no. That's not what we want. But some people on the right are asking for government to control everything. We're at this moral crossroads. And the funny thing about this is we thought the moral crossroads was drag shows for kids on one side and churches on the other side. But the litmus test, it's always a moving target. And sadly, it's a really bizarre one now. Sadly, some folks out there right now are asking whether you will accept working women and Black pilots. And I know a lot of you listen to my podcast on Friday, but you got to understand, this continues to bother me because it puts our candidates in such an ugly position. People out there are literally questioning whether women can be effective mothers while working and if minorities are capable of piloting a plane or any type of job. I mean, if you call out these statements for what they are, which is blatant discrimination, then, well, as I know, you failed their test. How can that be? How can these loud voices be out there like, if you don't agree with me that women should be barefoot and pregnant and that's the only choice they should have, if you don't agree with me that we have to question whether or not minorities are safe in these jobs, then you failed my test. Give me a break. Guess what? I gladly fail your test. Why? Because I come at this with firsthand life experience. I'm a mom of 4 girls who ran for governor, who works full-time. And guess what? I have an extremely strong relationship with my children. For women who choose to stay home, and I say choose to stay home because we should all have choices. For those women who choose to stay home and homeschool, I have mad respect for you because that's not my gift. I can't do that. I think it's amazing that you can do that. It's not something I can do, but I want you to be able to do that. I want me to be able to do what I do, and I want the government to stay the heck out of my choice on what I get to do. Because I want each and every family to be able to choose what's best for them. But for the clowns out there who are saying we have to question every working minority because the left created this stupid experiment called DEI, and now we can say no one deserves their job. What? Give me a break. What are you talking about? Now suddenly this gives you license to be a racist and say I don't think that person does because they were just given that job because of their color. What is happening? I am one of the few people that is brave enough to stand up and go, no. Look, I come from a company that was incredibly diverse. My go-to guy to learn everything I needed to know about manufacturing was our production manager. I would not be the person I am today without his mentorship and the knowledge that he bestowed upon me. And it makes me sick to think of someone belittling such a great man for clicks, and again to create this new litmus test, to have that edgy, hot new take, to be a little more extreme, to get a few more followers, to chip away at society just a little bit more. No, thank you. And all you can say to me right now is, but Tudor, aren't you afraid to call out discrimination in your own party? We need to stop the circular firing squad. No, I mean, yeah, as stupid things like if you're calling someone a rhino, or, you got this endorsement that's crummy, or you differ on this issue or that, or are you secretly wearing high heels? Yeah, that's total BS. It's childish. Don't divide just to divide. But racism, sorry, man, I'm out. And I'm calling you on it. I am calling you on it. But Tudor, aren't you afraid Peter Pan will destroy you? I'm a 46-year-old woman who came up in one of the toughest industries in the country. Social media influencers would run off of our shop floor crying. And let me be clear, I only answer to God. I know he's got my back when I do the right thing, and my reputation with him is the only one I need to worry about. If Peter Pan's trolls want to try to attack me, I say good luck getting through the armor of God. And I ask you to seriously think about this. Will you do their bidding? Will you drink the Kool-Aid? Will you rail against the qualification of women or minorities in the workplace and scream, DEI hire, every time? Or will you stand with me and say, this is not what we believe, it's not our party, and it's wrong. This kind of talk is wrong. When you look at candidates this year, don't put them through this crappy racial litmus test. Ask them what they want to do. Ask them if they align with the Republican Party's platform. And in case you don't know the Republican Party's platform, let me read it to you. This is what it says. Republicans believe in liberty, economic prosperity, preserving American values and traditions, and restoring the American dream for every citizen of this great nation. As a party, we support these policies that seek to achieve those goals. The policies that seek to achieve those goals. Our platform is centered on stimulating economic growth for all Americans, protecting constitutionality, guaranteed freedoms, ensuring the integrity of our elections, and maintaining our national security. We are working to preserve America's greatness for our children and grandchildren. The Republican Party's legacy, originally founded in 1854 for the purpose of ending slavery, compels us to patriotically defend America's values. As the left attempts to destroy what makes America great, the Republican Party is standing in the breach to defend our nation and way of life. That's our platform. It's about policies. What policies does the candidate you are thinking of voting for support? Of course, I want to know more. I want to know about the person. I want to know about their values. I want to know about their faith and their family. But most importantly, I want to know how they intend to use their time serving the people. Will they let Americans use their wallets to discipline Bud Light or Target or the hotel with the all-gender bathrooms themselves as we the people, because we have the power to push back on bad culture without a bunch of new laws or Uncle Sam or having to have big government? But will that same candidate, will they personally step in when we need a fighter on the inside against our government schools who are forcing middle schoolers into those same all-gender bathrooms? Will they support border security? Will they support lower taxes, fiscal responsibility? Will they protect us from foreign entities trying to take over our farmland or companies poisoning us with their pharmaceuticals? And I ask this seriously because we just went through this in Michigan. And we're going to start going through this across the country, because if you are carefully watching, there are foreign entities coming into this country and buying up farmland, but buying up property as well, whether it's farmland or not. Look at Michigan. We have Goshen, a company that is owned by the Chinese that has a CCP connection, that wants a CCP headquarters at every company, whether they are in the United States or not. They've just bought a bunch of property in Michigan, but with the help of our elected officials. That's right. Gretchen Whitmer's giving them $715 million taxpayer dollars so that they can have land right here in Michigan. And Alyssa Slotkin signed the NDA. What, you ask? What is an NDA? Oh, a non-disclosure agreement? You mean we, the taxpayers, who are paying them to come here, the Chinese, don't get to know what they're actually doing? That's right. We don't even know what these batteries are going for. It's a battery plant, supposedly. We don't know what the batteries are going to. We've heard they will not be used in the United States of America. They will use our water because guess what? Michigan, it has access to some of the greatest reserves of fresh water in the world. They will use our water, potentially pollute it. They could pollute it because our elected officials didn't even require them to have an environmental test. The woman who is running for Senate right now, Alyssa Slotkin, a Democrat, claims to care about the environment, signed the NDA, and did not require this. So imagine that. These are the questions you should be asking these people. Because I want to know, these people who are there to serve, and you should want to know that too. Why do they want to serve? I want to know what their life experience has taught them. And has their life experience taught them to want the best for others? And that they can put themselves in someone else's shoes instead of trying to force people they serve to live the life they expect them to live. Can they take themselves out of their position and say, man, I can see this from a different perspective? Or do they just want a bunch of people that live the same life? Because that's the beauty of America. We're not all the same. In fact, that's the beauty of God's creation. We are not all the same. He created us all differently. We all have different gifts. We all have different lifestyles. And we should be, as people who want to serve people, able to understand what someone else's life is like. I want to know that the person who is serving me, as the great Margaret Thatcher would say, is there to do something and not to be someone. Serving people should not be an ego trip for the candidate or the elected official or for those supporting their cause. There is no greater place than the United States of America, and that is because she is governed by the people. And so I tell you this because I'm asking you to come together as a party on the right issues, to look at the policies, and don't break our beautiful country, because she is the best one out there and the only one we've got. I thank you so much for taking time to listen to me on the Tudor Dixon Podcast today. As always, for this episode and others, go to TudorDixonPodcast.com. You can subscribe right there or head over to the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And join us next time on the Tudor Dixon Podcast. Have a blessed day.